and welcome to my channel. So today we're going to be talking about emergency tax codes. So I'm going to start off by explaining what emergency tax codes are. What is an emergency tax code? An emergency tax code is designed to be temporary, and it usually happens when HMRC does not have enough information to issue your correct tax codes. Next, looking at some examples. These examples are some of the reasons you may have an emergency tax code. However, I won't be able to cover all the examples here in one video, but I can do a part 2 of this video if requested. Number one example here would be gaps in employment, more like if you get a new job. It is most likely to have an emergency tax code if you change jobs. Most times, your new employer will use an emergency tax code until HMRC receives more information before your tax code can be adjusted. Number 2 example would be owing income tax. When you owe tax, this would be automatically deducted from your wages to recover the tax owed. And to do this, HMRC adjusts your tax code by a non-cumulative tax code. And this is where the emergency tax code is applied. However, in some cases, you will not get an emergency tax code if you owe tax. You sometimes go to a scheme called simple assessment, where you can pay the tax owed directly to HMRC. And this usually happens when HMRC cannot automatically deduct the debt from your wages or your income. So what is a non-cumulative tax code? A non-cumulative tax code is when some or all your tax-free allowances is not being applied. Moving on, we're going to be looking at the third example, because I'm only going to be giving 3 examples here in this video. The third example would be receiving state pension or company benefits. And this usually happens when the tax year had already begun, usually late into the financial year. Your state pension or old age pension, as it's fondly called, can start anytime during the tax year, and this would have an impact on your tax code. Same goes for your company benefit as well. For example, company car or any other benefit in kind you may receive at your workplace. Just so you know, state pension or company benefits they are all added income. So if emergency tax code is not applied, then you would not be taxed correctly. And as you know, state pension and company benefits are all taxable. There are other examples which I won't be covering in this video, as I mentioned earlier, to avoid a prolonged video. So we have now come to the end of the examples of emergency tax code. Moving on, what does emergency tax code look like? There we are. We have 0T tax code. If you see this tax code on your pay slip or your wage slip, that means 99% of the time you're paying too much tax and would get a refund once HMRC has gotten sufficient information to adjust your tax code correctly with. And this information is usually a P45 from your previous employment submitted to HMRC. These are what the other emergency tax codes look like. The second one is 1257 with W1 in the end. So W1 means week 1. The second one is 1257 M1. The M means month 1. And the third one is 1257 X. So the X usually means, of course, non-cumulative. They're all non-cumulative anyway. So these are what emergency tax codes look like. You should contact the tax office for more clarification once you receive a coding notice showing any of these tax codes on your pay slip, or once you receive a letter, more like a coding notice showing what your tax code is. If it's any of these, then you would need to contact the tax office. for more information. So we have now come to the end of this video. Thank you so much for sticking till the end. I hope you enjoyed watching, and if you have any questions at all, please ask them in the comment section down below. Thank you again, and bye. Don't forget to like, comment as I mentioned earlier, and subscribe for more.